I'm not saying mine's the preferred way, but to say I couldn't enjoy my way, the first time I met Graha, like, and started reading the lore was in Endwalker. So now picture when I went back and did the Crystal Tower series and met Graha, not for my first time, but for my character's first time. And he's saying, I hope I see you again. And I'm crying because, like, I know I'll see you again. Like, I know the future. Right? So, like, I would argue, like, there's not even like a right order. You know, there's maybe a recommended order because we think it will be the most enjoyable for the widest variety of people. But being in the game from 2.0 till now, and just now going back and doing story, and that will still be true at 10.0, you know, imagine you clear top and then you go do Omega.
Oh, that'd
like,
be
it's still a very enjoyable way to do it. Not the same joy as doing Omega then clearing top, but it would still be something you'd be like, whoa, like, because you're from the future.
Oh God, imagine skipping. Really cool, I think isn't it DSR that has that phase with the person?
Yeah, and you don't even know that. You don't know the memes. You don't know anything. Yeah. Like, you're just whatever.
Imagine if you'd skipped, if the story skipped and did that. You're like, oh, I'll try. This is a new one. I'll try that. And then you see that, and you're like, oh, that's sad. And then you go back to actually play Heaven's Ward, and you're like, oh God.
Who's this guy that I'm protecting? Why does this matter?
And then you go back and you know there's not going to be the time alteration, and you're playing it through and you see that stuff happen, and you know just how helpless you are in that moment because you've already done the fight that kind of twists it. I think there's no wrong way to play this game. And the idea that you should have to do the story before you want to, not saying you ever have to want to, but if when you join the game you do not want to, then don't. And if you change your mind on that down the road, it's still here. Because one of the hard things about the skips and a lot of these things is it kind of breaks things. I would rather it just be incomplete quests. Going back through on the, like, whatever you call it, not the never ending journey. Is it never ending journey? Whatever. Going back through on the replay again. It's not the same.
New Game Plus?
Yeah, New Game Plus. I would rather that be an unstarted quest on the map. I don't think.
Yeah, that was my. You know? Someone said about the WoW expansions. Where is it? Slinky Rock. Please make it. I was hoping that we would be able to skip until 7.0 with Dawn Trail for new players, but then have NPCs that will start the original quest lines for the expansions scattered around specific zones that the expansions are mostly relevant to. So have like an NPC in Limsa, Oldar, and Gridania that will allow you to start the 2.0 storyline. Have an NPC in Ishgard for the 3.0. Have an NPC in Ralga's Reach for 4.0. Have an NPC, you understand what I mean? Like, have an NPC in the main cities of specific areas.
Honestly, I want that for 7.0 just because, like, for many of us, you will not have, I mean, if you cleared 5.55 on the day, like, it's been months. So previously on would be welcome just for those of us that have slept since then. That would be a welcome thing. You know, it might be, wow, I'm going to log in a couple days before. I'm going to do all the previously on. I'm going to do the 2.0, 3.0.
Wait, content creators allowed to sleep?
And so, like,
when was I not told this?
I would love if they just kind of had that ability to go back and watch summaries of previous expansions. There was a rumor many years ago, so it never came to be. So it obviously wasn't somebody like breaching NDA or anything because it never happened. That they were working on this, that they were working on, you know, some format. Could be like a little YouTube series or something like that, where there was this little mini ability to watch through the game, like just previously on Final Fantasy 14, and just the ability to go back and say, okay, like I want to watch the story. Like if I watch all of these cinematics by this point, let's say it's like an hour and a half. Like I would sit down the morning before launch and I would watch the full hour and a half.
I mean, you have the book, right?
So the
you have the book. Yeah,
but if you go to the reason I didn't do it the first time is I don't like reading. So like,
no, but I thought you could rewatch I thought you could rewatch stuff there.
Oh, you can rewatch old cinematics in your but there are huge
Yeah.
gaps between them.
Yeah,
because I tried that So when I had been a story skipper, I had multiple of these suggestions. Well, you can just go and like I tried that and I was like, I don't know what any of this stuff means. I don't know who any of these people are. There's too much left in the non-voice acted scenes. Like if you just skip all but the cinematics, you're lost. If you skip all but the voice acted scenes and the cinematics, you're still lost. Like you have to click through this. There's also an incredible amount of lore in the dialogue. Like I think it's the monk quest. There's like this whole little side thing where he like explains all these conflicts that are referenced. So like the game is enormous lore wise. Even people who have just consumed the MSQ are still missing a lot.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
One day, Heart of the Peak.
It's a huge
I know
game.
we learned a little bit, but still.
And if you're forced to do it, you're not going to take it seriously. So you're not going to process it. You're just going to blast through it. So like, even if your goal is to get people to enjoy the story of 14, you should not be forcing people into it. You should say, okay, come and enjoy whatever you want. And then once I've got you hooked, once I've got you going, well, what's this Omega character? You can go, you know, the Omega quest line, you could do unsynced and you could do it in like an afternoon. Like you could just even from somebody who loves the lore, subversively, you gain more lore lovers by just letting them come to it on their own instead of shoving it down their throats on day one.
I don't know. I definitely agree with that. There's something about like self-motivation in that kind of situation that gets like the curiosity interested, and then someone's like even more engaged in it.